What a time to leave.
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to Orta No Better. I've no idea why Karl's just left, but yeah, we will roll a quick intro and then we shall get going. Good God.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Orta No Better podcast. Let's do this.
Leeds are shit. We're recording, you know.
Oh, shit.
We had a good start. I don't think we've got the personnel.
You can fucking laugh all you want, you absolute bellend.
I think about things, that's why you lot are idiots.
A melted version of a dick that's been shrink wrapped.
The absolute elite shithousery of this.
Now then, lads, glad you could join us, Karl. How are you both doing?
Join us, you cheeky bastard. Like, you're not the one that were late.
Yeah, nice one, Gilly.
All anybody saw was me and you sat here, Gilly, and no Karl.
That is true. That is true.
Camera doesn't lie.
Right.
How are you doing, Karl? Are you all right?
I'm okay. Yeah, I had to run back there. You know, I was running a bit late, so you know.
Where were you trying to go? Just out of interest.
I was trying to fix this epoxy light that I've gone and set up here, but it's just I don't know.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
fair enough. How are you doing, Gilly?
Oh, magic.
As ever.
Yeah.
We're all having a good time this week, aren't we? I feel like I'm having a disaster of a day and everything's gone wrong. You know, one of those days, and then we get the injury news and all that, but we'll get onto that later on. But first up, I believe you've got some predictions for us.
Orta No Better predictions.
Do indeed. Do you know, I ummed and ahed about my prediction for ages, and I knew where my gut was, and I didn't want to do it. And it's not because it used to be my decision, and it's not anymore that I did in the end. But almost everyone, and I mean almost everyone, went for a Leeds win. And do you know what?
We were feeling good.
I see it. I do get it. But I think from a realism perspective, looking at, I mean, we'll come on to the game itself, but just looking at the run that they've been on and whatever else, I was thinking, do you know what? I'm not sure. Long and short of it is, Jer and I both went 1-1, which gives me 5 sweet points, and gives Jer 5 sweet points too. And that actually means there is a bit of it. I'm going to just stick it in the. I was just going to do a tweet, but I'm just going to stick it in the overlay here so that we can have a quick look. So that does leave a bit of a change at the top, where Joe has now been caught by Jer, and Karl is now equal with me. And I just want to point out, right down there at the bottom, Smarty on 3 little points.
3 little bits.
I'm not going to join in sticking the boot in because I could be there in a few weeks, the way it's going.
I mean, if you look at that, fans upwards, there's 9-10 people that with one set of 5 points could go joint top. So it's all close. It's all early on. But yeah, the only points that were handed out this time were Jerry and I. Both went draw, both went 1-1. So everybody else got
it's a bit like the championship table.
Yeah.
1 or 2 wins. Yeah, that's it. So speaking of table, and we did a B&C last night, me and Luke. He kept getting raided and interrupted by his kids, so that was good fun. It's a good job they're cute, because he'd probably get really upset, wouldn't he, otherwise? But yeah, we had a good chat, and we were talking about the game and stuff, so I don't want to go too much into it, but I'm interested to see what you guys thought of it, how we played, and, you know, was it the right result? Was it a penalty? That kind of thing. Start with you, Karl. You can fire away, because you look like you were smacking your chops there, getting ready to go.
Well, look, I sat here and watched it in the house, and I kind of regretted going 3-1 not long into the game, and that was partly down to the referee, because I didn't think we were going to keep 10 players on the pitch the way he was dishing out cards and not doing it for Norwich, but that's further down the line of the conversation.
You mean 11, right?
Sorry, yeah. So yeah, that kind of swayed my opinion of the result I'd picked. And look, they haven't lost at home in 18 games, 17, 18 games. That's a good home record to be going up against. What is Gilly drinking?
Gilly's drinking cherries and berries.
Cherries and berries. Is that a beer?
No, it's juice.
Cider or something.
No. I don't. Honestly, it's just
okay.
I'm not on alcohol tonight. I know this is strange for me.
Wow.
But no, it's just a cherries and berries cordial.
Me neither. Yeah.
Sparkling
So,
water.
yeah.
There you go. Look at us. Look at us.
Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thought,
Sorry.
Not me.
Not me. So yeah, after the referee kind of banjoed my decision to go 3-1, I kind of thought both teams cancelled each other out because the play was very sloppy in parts. There was the good old basketball type thing going on. Yeah, the ref was a joke, Paul Brennan. Yeah, absolute joke.
The end-to-end thing.
Pardon?
The end-to-end thing.
Yeah, it was just a little like. Apparently, he was saying to Rothwell before he went on, get your foot on it and try and calm it down a bit. But sure, that didn't happen at all, like really. But see, that I was thinking then just there, that's the kind of game where you'd like a clicky type player, just someone to slot in there, shithouse a bit, get their foot on the ball, look after it, and then kind of open play up a bit. But we don't have that at the moment, so we have to do with what we've got. And
get to that.
Yeah, and I didn't think Norwich were all that. I thought Sargent had a decent game. I thought that size, I don't think he should have been on the pitch at one point, like after that tackle on who was it? Aronson, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then
the one out on the touchline.
Yeah, that was a booking all day long. And
Yeah.
he was lucky not to get one or two, not long after that as well. And I think the referee kind of ruined that game from the get-go, because then he dished out so many quick yellow cards that when the tackles were still flying in, he stopped dishing them out when they were actually needed, and he gave them for absolute garbage. But at the same time, we can only play our own game and try and not let the referee affect it. But look,
it's hard, isn't it, when they're stopping everything?
Yeah, Norwich set up, to kind of play because they were at home, but they didn't really offer an awful lot, I don't think. And if that's the best that size fella is going to do, then I wasn't disappointed with a point. I think we should probably go on to it in a minute. Is the Willie trip. If Sargent gets tripped and that's a penalty, same for Willie. But again, down to the ref. That's just my opinion. But
we get nothing though.
No, we don't. And I was happy with a draw, to be fair, in the end, considering the chaos of the game and losing Gruev so early on, and then Paddy and Joel coming on, and it seeming to be a 4-4-2 where it was just slow. And I understand why he took Ramazani and Nanto off. Another game on Friday, and they're definitely going to start. Yeah. At that point, I think and I think at that point he understood that we were basically going to play for the point. I think then at that point for me, and it was always the case. Then after that, I think.
Fair enough, Gilly. We've got a positive Bryn in the comments here. He says, "Don't sugarcoat it, lads. Norwich were crap, and we threw it away with negative subs, settling for a point at 75 minutes." Do you agree with any of that?
Well, I can't agree with Bryn anyway. There's never any logic in what he says. No, I think Farke's had quite a bit of shit because the changes that he made did seem to take the sting out of the game. I think the thing that you've got to recognise is that Ramazani and Nonto, having played very well, were also blowing. And they weren't able to keep up to the level that they'd been throughout the game up to that point. And I think so you were pretty much forced into the changes. And it might not have been the changes that he wanted to make, but you look at the bench and go, what has he got? So I think it's a bit harsh to dig him out for that. I mean, for me, Nonto were man of the match. I thought he were fantastic throughout the game. And it were a shame that he came off. But one, he looked knackered. And two, very quick turnaround for a third game in 6 days. and we need him. So, I think on balance, even if it did take this thing out of the game, a point away. I mentioned Jer and I both went 1-1. We had a bit of a chat about it because I said, I've done the same. And Jer pointed out to me a stat that if we won again in that game, that would have been 5 on the bounce, and the first time in our history we'd ever beaten them 5 on the bounce at their place. Now, I've not fact-checked him, so feel free to give him some shit if that's wrong. But ultimately, on balance, with the injuries that we've got and all of the other context around the game and the balance of the game, I thought the ref was shocking. I didn't think it was particularly good for them either. I thought it was just bad.
Oh, no, he was all round shit, like.
Yeah. But I mean, it was a pen. I think Luke asked me, because Luke, I think, was there, and he asked me, were it a pen? In fact, he asked it in chat, didn't he? And I said, I don't know how much of this is because I'm a Leeds fan and how much of it is because I really think it was a pen. But you would then reflect on the commentary team, which we will also come on to a bit later. And when the Sky commentators are saying that's such a bad decision, you can understand the player getting themselves booked as a reaction to it being such a bad decision. Not them going, oh, players shouldn't be behaving like that, but actually going, I can understand why that players behaving that way. It tells a story in and of itself. So I think, I think it was a pen. Signs, I thought, I know that you hate him, Karl, but when it comes to Bogle, I thought that he handled him quite well. And we've been quite cutting of Bogle and his defensive capabilities, and you called him out for ball watching. I thought he marshalled him quite well, and he's coming off the back of a hat-trick against Watford. Watford would have been above us in the league now if they'd have beaten Norwich. So, they're in and amongst things at the moment. And then I think, so to go and smack them the way they did and for Sainz to get a hat-trick, Bogle's done quite well, hasn't he, to keep him quiet, because I don't think he did that much. So, you're right to say Sargent had a decent game. I don't rate him that highly, but he did all right against us. But for me, on balance, I thought Nonto was the better player. He was so unlucky with that shot where he'd worked himself some space and just a snapshot with his left peg to hit the post. I thought that was really unlucky. And then obviously he's the one that's, in inverted commas, won the penalty. Obviously it wasn't given, but he'd done his man. And he brought him down. So, on balance, to be honest, on balance, I think I'm gonna pop it up because it's my favourite graph. Even though the momentum shows this, I think if you consider the end of the game and the fact it's 1-1 and it's at their place and they're pushing and we've made changes and you can say enforced changing and whatever else. I think on balance, it's not an unfair result for it to be 1-1.
I don't think it's a bad point. I'm just going to come back to Bryn again because he's giving me some comments to chew on here. Nonto and Largy slightly tired off a more than 100% fit Bamford and Pirro in a press. It's not about whether they're still good when they're tired or whether they're better than other people when they're tired. It's about people not getting injured. You don't want to keep players out when they're dead on their feet. That's how they're going to get strains and muscle injuries and tears, and we don't want any more of them. For me, anyway. I don't know what you guys think, but
and Joe Bedford's just responded to him in the chat as well. How do you get players match fit if you don't give them minutes?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but it's 100% with half an eye on Sunderland as well.
Yeah,
of course.
Thing is,
that's the thing, and it's a balancing thing. There's two things at work there. It's not just about taking them off and they could have stayed on and they're better than who's come on to replace them, whatever. You try to protect them.
Yeah. Well, the thing is as well, Bryn said there that Bamford and Pirro aren't good in the press, that he'd use Willie and Ramazani even if they were knackered. We weren't playing with the press when they came on necessarily. There was no urgency to close down. It was more closing space than closing the player and the press. So we'd kind of changed our game in that sense anyway, to kind of not invite them on, but not make it easy either, without, the high press that you get from Willie and Ramazani. And
let's be honest though, all Bryn's doing there is having a go, is using that as a platform to have a go at Bamford and Pirro.
Oh, of course he is. Yeah.
There's no logic to it. It just don't like him.
Yeah, but that's why I kind of want to just sort of go, no, you're incorrect there now, I'm afraid.
I mean, I don't really want to see Bamford either, but
Yeah. Well,
but equally, we've got very little else, haven't we?
Yeah.
We need every player we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
Who are you putting on? You can't not put someone on. You can only piss with Dick. You've got a smarty, I'd say.
Yeah, and if you look at the players that didn't come on, you had Darlow, you had you're not going to make a change unless you put him up front. Maybe I don't know how good he is on outfield, but you got Darlow and you got three children. We had De Bayo, we had Crew, and we had Chambers. Never had a 13-minute between them. So putting them, I mean, in a tight game, you want to be bringing those players on for their first minutes when you're 3 goals up.
Yeah.
Now, we might not get that luxury, but equally, to detract him for the changes he made, I think is a little harsh.
I think people bang on about his tactics not being great. I think that was very tactical to take them off when he did because they were fucking wrecked. Knackered, like. So you can't knock his tactics.
People would have gone mad. People would have gone mad if they'd got hurt because it's on.
Why did you leave them on so long? 70 minutes is when he normally does it. Blah. It's like, your head just falls off sometimes, It
does. You can't win as a manager, can you? Not as a Leeds manager, anyway.
No,
but when Dan James comes back, I tell you, he's going to be greeted like Jesus. People are going to be that happy. They're going to be throwing petals at him and offering him the babies to kiss and try to hug him and stuff. Just be so glad to see him. You know what I mean?
Man, apparently he's back after the international break, so he's not gone with Wales. So
yeah, but Strike were only out for a couple of weeks when he first got injured last season.
That's the worry, isn't it? You can't count on anyone at Leeds until you see him out there.
At least Rob Price isn't there taking bits and pieces off each player and trying.
But it wasn't him, was it? It clearly wasn't him because we're worse now than when we had him.
Yeah, but he had players back quicker, didn't he? There's a reason for that. Body parts.
Well, that's it, yeah. That's it. So, I mean, we've probably said enough about that game, I guess. I think the consensus between us three is it's a decent point, especially if we win on Friday. It probably doesn't look as good if we don't win, but against a team with that home record, when we're kind of a little bit at odds and ends with people getting injured and stuff's a bit chaotic, I think it's a decent takeaway.
I think even if we don't win, Sunderland are top of the league. Even if we don't win, if we go away top,
the top of that,
Did I stutter? I got the table in front of me.
Okay, right.
But no, they've made a good start. If we go away to their place and we get a draw, and we've gone away to Norwich and we've gone away to Sunderland in the same week, I think that you'll be able to look, if the rest of the season is to go well, you could look back at here and go, those were 2 decent points.
Exactly.
I think in isolation, you might go, well, 2 draws in a row, that's a bit shit. We're going for the title. But if you're expecting Sunderland, Burnley, Norwich, West Brom to be up there, then going away to their place and getting a draw, that's not bad. Actually, what we need to be doing is going to the sides that we should be beating and getting points there. Last season, you look at the points that we took. I mean, Southampton apart, Leicester, we took points. Ipswich, we took points. It's not the teams in and around us. So as long as we're maintaining that, what we really need to do then is put the pressure on the teams mid-table, lower mid-table, and make sure that we're getting points there. I don't think 2 away points in these fixtures is that bad.
No, as long as we're staying in touch and not falling away, I think it's important to show that we don't bottle it at the teams that are around us, because they'll see the weakness and they'll sniff it out and they'll be like, right, okay, yeah, sound. Leeds are there for the taking, and everyone will want it because we're everyone's cup final at the end of the day.
Well, there is that as well.
That's
there
right.
was just one last stat that I just wanted to mention before we move on, and that is the last 3 penalties Leeds have conceded at Carrow Road. So this is LUFC data on Twitter. Have all been scored by Norwich in the 15th minute of matches.
Wow.
And that's in 2024, 1993 and 1979. And what a stat that is.
That's
Fair
mad,
play
isn't it?
for finding that stat. But it is just one of those bizarre things.
Yeah.
I will say something with regards to like looking back on potentially a couple of draws or whatever. You don't get context till the season ends, do you?
No. That's right.
You don't know
No.
how important or how poor a result was till it's all over.
Yeah.
That's it. You just got
Oh,
to
and just explain to me as well. Oh, I shouldn't have got onto this. I'm no. How the fuck did Melia not save that penalty?
Oh, man. Oh,
come on. I mean, definitely he should be saving that, right?
He should have done it. We're close to him.
Yeah. Probably would have feet that one.
That's poor.
I feel like it's because he'd gone to dive before he'd actually.
He didn't. It looked like he'd set himself just in case it were close to him, and then he still
sort of went over, didn't he? Sort of dived over on spot, sort of thing. It was a bit strange. He didn't go far.
No, he didn't go far at all. But neither did Ball. That's I don't know. It's just that were an annoying one for me. It were almost like he went under his hand, even though it was right next to him. And you think,
yeah.
Anyway, it's just one of them. It was hit hard enough. That's the other thing.
Well, yeah, that's the main thing, isn't it? Before we move on, I'm just going to say to Ian Ward, stop that immediately. Says Sunderland have 4 first-team players out injured, so note to fear. I don't know.
We've got 12.
We don't want to hear that sort of talk, Ian. You've sunk us now.
You know what the crack is, man. You don't do that.
You've just sunk HMS Pistol League, Ian.
Oh, stop! We've got that still in the brand. If anyone wants to bring that up,
I don't think we'll be airing that until we see how we go.
No, the sunken one is there.
Oh well, yeah. Well, we've got that. Yeah, we've got that. That kind of segues us nicely, anyway, onto our midfield. And we were just going to have a little bit of a chat now about sort of the injury situation and what we could do. I mean, I've seen people saying that Farke's going to look at the free agents list, and there's a lot of speculation going now, especially about there's some player that's played for him before. What's his name?
Kramer,
yeah. Kramer versus Kramer for the kids.
Great film, by the way.
Half of these lot won't know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely
but yeah, it's I've heard that said, but I've heard elsewhere people say no, he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. I mean, Karl, why won't we do that in our situation?
I think we'd be silly not to. I'll be perfectly honest, but I also saw that Farke was saying in a press conference that it would be irresponsible. Excuse me, I'll get my foot out of my mouth. It would be irresponsible of them to not consider the free agent market. So I think we'll definitely.
And is that from Farke's mouth?
Yeah, it was on
the press conference.
Yeah, it was on the BBC section.
Why would anyone say he's not going to do that then?
Well, he's not committing to it, but he said it would be irresponsible if they didn't look.
Bit of a strange one.
I think he left the door open to it, didn't he? Because I think a lot of it was based on how bad is Gruev's injury going to be, and now that it's broken tonight, that we know that it's going to be months. Yeah. Now, it's broken tonight. Now it's going to be months, and I think that was the point he was making: is if it's a long-term injury, we're going to have to do something, because what you can't do is, Tanaka, for all the fact that I think he's played well when he's had an opportunity, he's played very few minutes. He's in a new club, new country, new league. Never played as high as this level before. I mean, maybe international bits, but with regularity, the best level he's played at on domestically is German second tier, which is not comparable. So to expect him to step up and right out of the gate just be able to do it, I think it's asking a lot of a player. I know that Kramer's linked. Kouyaté is another one that's linked, and you're thinking, those are players with a lot of experience, and that's something that we're lacking as well, that could come in as a free agent and do some of those bits that we were calling for over the summer for some of the numbers to come in. And I think it'd be expected to see somebody come in, and if somebody doesn't come in now, I think that's even more of a gamble than stripping the squad the way they did over the summer.
Yeah, I think so. We've got a great question here, Karl, from Roland Buttonups. He says, can we get someone on free market that's better than one of the under-21s? What do you think about that? Now, I think, personally, men's football is the key here.
I think he's got a point. Like, why not use them? But at the same time, you can't be throwing a 17, 18-year-old into that midfield and expect them to do something. Like Gilly said, what we need now is experience in there. And the players that have been mooted about the place are definitely the type of player we should be looking at. I don't know, Matip is available as well, but would he drop down? You know what I mean? There's like Lockie put in a good text message into the group, the message, and there was a few players on there that would potentially be worth a shout. But yeah, I think like Fark is saying that he's got a lot of faith in, you know, DeBayo and Charlie Crew and their progression is going really well, but he's smart enough to know not to throw them straight in there, like, because you've got Tanaka or you've got bleeding Gilly's favourite player Rothwell for a young kid to sit beside in midfield. Two players who are literally, after getting the longest minutes they've ever had on Tuesday night for the club, you need someone with more experience to come in there and sit beside. I'd say it'd be out Tanaka for me that would be in there, with the more experienced head sitting in there, just kind of covering the Ampadu role really, and let Tanaka do the picking it up and driving forward bit, like. But it needs to be someone with experience for me, like.
Yeah. What do you think, Gilly? Would you try one of the kids, or would you be more tempted to go for one of the free agents? There's a lot of people in the comments saying Farker has also said free agents won't be match fit, which is true, but they'll get match fit before we get players back.
Yeah, but there was one.
I think it's both. We have to bring someone in for me. 100% have to, because if you consider that Ampadu and Gruev are now not going to be back before the turn of the year, then, you know, we're in a position where if you don't, then basically we're fucked it. Because if you don't go, now that's not to say that we won't play Crew at all, we won't play DeBayo at all, but what we really need is somebody to come in that's experienced. And if they are not match fit, fine, but they can sit on a bench and they can come on for 10 minutes and they can build up match fitness that way. Because I think that if you go and get, you know, you look at the balance of the game. So it was 20th minute that Gruev got injured, so Rothwell had to come on and play 70 plus minutes. So you're in a position now where actually, if that happens again, all you've got is Crew, and you don't have a change that you can make because you've brought on your last midfielder and you've got two. So all three of the kids that have never played a minute of first team football still now. So even though people are going, well, Farker says they're good enough and they're part first team squad, yeah, but you don't think they're good enough to have actually given them any minutes up until now.
Yeah.
Look at what Joseph did last season. You know, we were all raring for him to get more minutes, but Farker clearly didn't trust him to play him enough. He didn't play him. You know, I think we'd have been better positioned if we'd have given him more minutes towards the tail end of the season. Either he might have made enough of a difference to get us up, or it'd have been better off this season for the experience that you gained during that period. But we're in that position now where, let's say Rothwell or Tanaka, something happens with them, they get a twinge and it's too risky for them to play on. It might not even be a bad injury. You've just got to tweak things and move things around. Then you're either bringing on a defender in midfield or you're bringing a child on.
Yeah.
And then you've got nothing to back them up. So if that child is then struggling with the pace of the game for 50 minutes, bringing in an old head on 10, 15 minutes from time, they don't need to be match fit. They can just play the game. You know, they're experienced enough. They're going to be in the right place. You know, Kuyate for me, you know, Kramer looks like he'd be a decent player, right kind of profile. You know, coming towards the end of his career, but plenty potentially left in. Kuyate would be the one for me, but and that's because, you know, knows English football, has played in the Premier League. That would be my option. I'd be happy with either. There are others out there. I think we have to go for the experience. We just have to. And that helps those kids as well, because while ever Ampadu's not training and Gruev's not training, those kids need somebody to train with to get them to the level they need to be at.
That's true. See, might be rolling Harry Gray out quicker than we thought at this point.
Yeah, he's not back till after Christmas either.
Oh no, he's not, is he?
It's out.
So the way, like, if we don't take advantage of the free market, I think what I could see happening is the way he's talked about DeBayo is that he would play DeBayo, and I think he'd move Strike into centre mid. If we didn't take, I know I can see your face, Gilly. I know, but
Well, it's better than what Matt Leeds has suggested here, which has upset me a little bit, Matt. That's upset me as that. We would get absolutely destroyed. We'd get ruined.
Even playing him in the 8 would be bad, but playing Aronson at CDM is just loony.
Brendan Aronson, our new midfield hard man. The new Vinnie Jones. Come on, Matt.
But yeah, I think Strike into midfield, and people are quick to forget when we bought Strike, he was bought as a CDM, not as a centre back. I know. Look, yes, people will fucking give me grief for this, but at the end of the day, if a player is bought for one position, they don't just all of a sudden become bad in that position, and it's still central.
No, he's got bad in that position over a long period, as we've seen.
But that's the only outcome I can see if we don't take a gamble on this free player market. That's what I can see happening, and that let's be honest, that is probably the only option there for him, if they don't bring someone in.
Princess Carl City said that about Vincent Kompany. I'm not entirely sure which bit it means there.
Waffle on for a bit there now, to be fair.
Ian Ward asked if we have a recall on Darko. I think we do, but you can't do it outside of a window, can you?
No, you can't register for another club outside of a transfer window, so we'd be waiting until January anyway.
No, that's it.
Do you think do we bring him back in January?
I think it depends what's happening. At that point, the other guys might be close to coming back.
Two boys are fucked, so let's not beat around the bush here. If we can take him back, and he's doing all right at the minute for Plymouth, from what I've read and the bits I've seen.
Seems to be, yeah. I mean, it's a different level, but it's still an option, isn't it?
It's still the championship.
If we're in need. I'm worried about how this affects our season now, and whether we need to change our outlook, because this is quite a big blow. Nige said, spot on, Gilly, recruits needed now, need to stay in and around the top 3-4 till January. And is that what it is now? Is it trying to just stay in touch now and accepting we're not going to win as many games as we were going to?
I accepted that at end of summer.
Yeah, but you've been a pessimist all summer. You were on a rampage.
I would literally start in the season hoping that we'll be in and around the playoffs, because that's about as good as we can hope for. And now it's worse.
Last year that we weren't going to go up at Wembley, but we were going to win it next year.
That's exactly what would have happened had the 49ers not entirely fumbled the bag.
Oh, God.
You've
done it now, Carl. You've set him off again. I will say, if we had...
like that toy, with the tambourines when he gets going. He's just like, how do you turn it off?
Honestly, though, that Tory guy gave himself a B, didn't he? Was it a B plus that he gave himself the transfer window? It's like, fucking hell, mate, that's an F. You failed.
But I will say, had we signed a 10, it wouldn't make much difference to the central midfield issue.
Well, it would, because you'd have already been able to play Aronson at CDM, wouldn't you?
Well, there is that. Forgive me.
This is a point. So Steve Brown says, don't we weaken two positions by moving straight to CDM? So even if you accept that he can do the job in midfield, he is doing a job in central defence. So you then bring a child in there instead of bringing a child into the midfield, because we don't have a senior centre-back either. So, it depends on who we get, doesn't it? But we can only make those decisions if you bring experience in, for me.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just throwing it out there because that's kind of something that he might have to think about as well. But, I get what you're saying, and I get the point. But just...
Would you sooner have the child in defence or in centre mid?
Centre mid for me.
Yeah,
leave the back four as settled as you can for me. But I'm only leagues, championship winning sides are built on solid defence. At this point in time, we're giving away very few chances. All right, albeit sides are scoring them against us, but we're giving away very few chances. We've got a settled back five. So for me, you change that as little as possible. You're enforced into making changes in midfield, but you're not enforced to make changes in defence because of the injuries. But you're not forced to make those decisions in defence. So for me, you leave it as static as possible. And if you remember the way that people went on at Bielsa for making too many changes, So bring one person in, but move that person there and that person there and that. There were a lot of changes just to bring one different member of the personnel in.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's as it was, and we're going to be starting Rafael and Tanaka anyway, and we're going to have to hope that they do well enough.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think you're probably right. I mean, I can see the logic in what you're saying.
Lots of people in the comments. Have I missed? I mean, Weber's out just as long as the others, isn't he? He's also had a meniscus.
He's actually going for an operation.
Yeah.
Is he?
So yeah. So the people in the comments talk about Weber saying he shouldn't weaken us too much because he's an international offender. Yeah, but he's not going to be next year.
He's going to be out for as long as the boys. Like,
yeah.
Scooby's asking when James is back. He's meant to be after the international break. That's what we were told, but we're not holding our breath at the moment, are we?
You know what? Like, it gives a nice headache though with the chaos in the centre of midfield or midfield. It gives him a nice headache to deal with in relation to how he's going to set up attacking wise. You know what I mean? That's not a bad one. Like, with all the negativity about centre midfield, he's got another option back in attack. So that's not the worst thing that's ever happened.
What, when James comes back?
Yeah.
Yeah, but are we going to have anyone to like feed the ball through to the attack?
Yeah,
but we're going to have zero midfield. If the guys stay fit, Rothwell and Tanaka, they should be capable of doing a job against most sides. They should be.
Yeah.
But it's a gamble, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. It is, but we've already rolled the dice, haven't we? In terms of you look at Solomon, and a lot of people said, "Wow, what a signing! If he can stay fit." Yeah. Now we're not going to see much of him this season. He's already broken down. Yeah, Bringe just said Schmidt's played plenty in midfield. Yeah, but he's injured as well.
His ass is killing him.
That's why he wanted Norwich.
Yeah,
for God's sake. I thought he was all right.
No. So this is what I'm saying when they're saying, "Well, Sunderland have got 4 first teamers." No, hang on a minute. We're in double figures of injuries.
We're FUBAR, like.
And then Firpo averages 20 games a season. Bogle averages 20 games a season.
And Byram's made of biscuits.
Byram does the same. They all average between 21 and 22 games of the season if you look over the course of the last 4 seasons.
Bloody hell.
Well, I'm feeling really positive now. I'm really glad we've talked about this, you know.
You're glad to get it off your chest, yeah?
Christ. Oh.
The one thing that I would say... The one thing that I would say, and this can be viewed, I think, as a positive, is if we can get to the January transfer window, that's not to me, that's to a comment. If we can get to the January transfer window and be in reasonable touch, we've got lots of money and lots of overhead from PSR, and there will be lots of pressure for them to finally do what they should have fucking done in the summer and actually sign the players we fucking need.
Yeah.
And then maybe we can have a good second half of the season.
I love when he goes a bit red when he starts ranting at the 49.
It's class. With that in mind, Gilly, what you saying out there? No, do you think maybe they go back in for Harmer with an absolute monster offer that Sheffield United can't refuse? Make them an offer they can't refuse, you know?
Who knows? Get the horses head
them a wet fish.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Luca Brasi. Do Luca Brasi on them.
I think it's clear that we're going to have to do something. But yeah, I mean, we've probably done this bit to death now. But yeah, for me, I'm saying bring someone in. Gilly, you're saying bring someone in. Karl, do you bring someone in? Or
bring someone in.
Bring someone in. That's a consensus. We're all in agreement tonight. It's lovely. We're all in harmony.
Weird, isn't it?
We don't normally get all this, do we? It's nice.
Is it a full moon or what? Like,
it could be, you know. Maybe that's why I'm feeling a bit crazy.
Nuts.
Can't deny that one. I'm just going to fire through a few comments that we have starred before we go on to our favourite bit of the show. Here we go.
Hang on, sorry, just before you do that, the Scum were winning when our wolfing some tea down and they're now getting beat.
Oh, fantastic.
Come on.
That's nice. Porto.
Fantastic. He'll be crying, little Ten Hag. It's a shame, though, because, you know, he might get sacked and we don't want that.
No. Eric's at the wheel.
Well, he stood behind him with brake lines in his hands.
Yeah, he's the ticket man.
Yeah, that's it. He's the conductor. Right, we got a comment from Paul Brennan. He says, for me, it was a valuable point. Should have won, but Norwich haven't lost for nearly a year. 2 teams going for it. Point better than no. Can't argue with that one.
Not at all, no.
Michael Gott said, did Luke get his camper van for the mobile podcast? I don't know. Did you guys see B&C?
No.
Brilliant. We want people to watch it, but you can't be asked. So Luke, as some of the guys in the comments will know this, Luke has bought a camper van unseen from a friend of his, and he said he's paid him. He's seen the logbook.
Unseen?
On the logbook, yeah. And on the logbook it says colour white. So his brother's gone to pick this van up for him last night, and when he's got there, he said it's like an orangey red. So he's got this bright red van that he's now bought. he's gutted. He's like, it's getting painted if it's red.
Oh, man. You bought it at scene, hey. Had wheels in your bought it. Bought it at scene, hey. It was white when you bought it.
Periwinkle blue.
So we need to see this van. We need to see what the Luke mobile looks like.
Oh,
then we can start doing the mobile pod
there. Yeah.
Mobile pod from Peacock Car Park.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Just in time for Christmas.
We'll have to get him loads of that cheap gold like B.A. Baracus, and he can paint it black.
He could be Bobby George as well, you know.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Good God. Oh, positive Brainy says, Jay still reeling from the weekend. You're not wrong there, pal. I am still knackered. I am still absolutely knackered. I've still got my bright yellow coat as well. Paul Brennan again says,
how to places, that?
Oh, it's brilliant, yeah. It's magic key. Paul says, Outanacker and Big Joe Rothwell played well together, considering they were chucked in at the deep end. The partnership looks good. I think that's reasonable. Obviously, Rothwell's not as strong as Gruev or Ampadu for me. I know Gilly will agree with that. But listen, if he stays fit and he stays in there, then he's what we've got. And we're going to have to hope he comes good. I think he's just had to drop off for a sec. Oh, yeah. So we're going to have to hope he comes good. He looked all right, doesn't he? He likes to get forward and he likes to have a shot when he can and stuff. And that's what we kind of want from someone in that position, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Playing more like a proper 8.
But again, it just goes back to the whole thing. Like, it's what we've got at the minute. Until something else comes in the free market, that's what we've got. And you never know. Look, they could absolutely pull it out of the bag and be an absolutely stonking midfield, and then the two boys
stranger things have happened.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like we didn't think Ampadu and Rodon were going to make such a good partnership last year in centre of defence. Look what happened. It also brought in it also brought Gruev into the fold as well, and now we've got that partnership. And you know, strange things happen, and bits and bobs grow out of different things, out of different scenarios, I suppose. You know,
absolutely. Nobody wanted to lose Ampadu from midfield, but once he got settled in defence, nobody wanted him to go back.
Yeah, that's exactly it, man. And that's just what happens. Like, you get a rhythm going, like Gilly said, as a back four there now, and two boys could get a rhythm going in no time at all. They're professional footballers. They play to the top level. It's as simple as that, like, really.
That's it. And if they stay fit and they get that understanding going, then there's no reason we can't stay up there and do what we try to do this season. Yeah. Mark Barlow says, evening, guys. Can you talk me down, as I'm seriously worried about Midfield due to the Gruev surgery announcement?
We haven't done that, have we?
I don't think we've done that, Mark. No, sorry. We're probably, if you're on the edge, we're not the guys to come to.
Yeah, well, not now. Like, after that probably should have been done earlier, Jay. Not that probably shouldn't have been a starred message. Paul, can you just,
it wasn't me
if you're all right?
That was me.
It wasn't me that started it, so don't blame me.
We have finished it off saying that there are free agents that are available that can, you know, Kouyaté could definitely come in and do a job. No two ways about it. Easy. And all we've got to do is get to January, and then we can actually go and spend some cash. So it's not all bad. There are options. We just don't have them yet.
Yeah, and it don't get serious till January. Anyway,
and we've 2 weeks to sort that out now as well with the international break, so let's not panic yet.
True that. Bryn Johnson again says Coquelin played La Liga last. Kouyaté PL, Premier League, I can't speak, and Kramer, Bundesliga, all played last year. Kramer had a pre-season, was released in August.
Yeah.
So he may be closer to match fitness than the others, which is positive. But yeah, it's still going to take time. But as we said, I think we still want to see someone come in regardless, because it's better than not having somebody, isn't it?
Yeah.
Steve Brown says Tanaka playing for Japan at home to Australia on Tuesday. Jesus Christ. Surely he'll still be jet lagged for Blunt's game on the Friday. It probably will, mate. He'll probably turn up half dead and then end up with his ankle snapped or something. So,
is it one or two games he's playing? Because if it's only one game, as a club, I'd be saying get back here straight away on Tuesday night. Just fly.
I'd be saying, get back, you bastard. I'll break your legs. That's what I'd be saying.
No, they've got a game on the 10th of October against Saudi Arabia, and then they've got the game against Australia on the 15th. So, no, these are the two games, and there's plenty of miles in that. And then, yeah, as soon as he gets back, it'll be... well, he's not even going to get time to train, is he? He'll be straight into season again for us. So, he's going to be hard pushed. I think if you consider that's the 18th, because it's Friday night again.
Yeah.
So he'll play Tuesday night, have to get back and be straight into travel to be able to go to a game.
The only saving grace there is that it's not an away game. So once he gets to Leeds, it's just get some rest, get into the gym and get some stretches on. Not all bad, Gilly 2024. Getting it on a t-shirt. Daddy from Not Another Leeds pod getting the t-shirt.
I like that. Make us a little video with that on, Danny.
Yeah.
Some kind of like inspiring type thing, and we'll play it on next pod.
Yeah, what's his name? The guy, the fitness guy back in the 80s. Do it, Gilly.
Mr. Motivator.
No, not. Jeez. Well, he's bald, I suppose.
Twins.
He's the only fitness guy that I can remember from the 80s.
Right, yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'll text him.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Right, I think it's time for everyone's favourite part of the show anyway, where we get to hear Bren's dulcet tones, and he's going to have to come on and do this live at the end of the season.
He's even got an ornament
he has to
now.
make an appearance.
In the background,
Hey, I've got a shit tick this week, my little spat of fact.
Did that cut off early then?
No,
felt like it went short. I feel like one of you's been messing with it. Right, so this is our favourite bit where we get to see the crazy things that people have said during the week. So you said you've put me some in the brand, Karl. I'm assuming it's these two above the AMC stuff. So I'm just going to go with this, and we're going to see what's what here.
Well, there should be three there. No, there should be Gilly's one as well.
Okay, I can't even see his one. So right, so we've got this one from JWC, the Jackie Cal. Joseph doesn't hold it up well enough for my liking. He doesn't bag goals, and his final ball is not great. I really like his effort and tenacity, but it's wild that he's our number 9 and we're hoping to get promoted. I mean, that's a bit shit, really, isn't it? He's doing a great job for me. We said last night he's not bagged enough, perhaps, but assists are good.
I think it's to take it all. I think it's absolutely spot on.
You think it's good?
Do you think that's?
I think the comment. I think the comment that it's wild. I think the comment that it's wild that he's our number 9, having played no league games at all from the start before this season, is accurate.
Okay, the first half.
That's too much of a gamble.
First half of it, because
I'm not having that. I'm not having that.
So I don't think he holds it up particularly well. And if you look at the stats from the Norwich game, he went up for 5 headers and lost them all. I think, doesn't bag goals and his final ball is not great. I think that's unfair because, as I've just pointed out, he's never started a league game for us before. So expecting him to do that is a bit unfair. But I think it is absolutely wild that he's our number 9, and the only backup we've got for that is an immobile Pirro and a croc that's Bamford. I think I would love to hear your argument, Jay, as to how that is wrong.
My argument is that his movement, his link-up play, the assists he's getting, all good for me.
No, I'm not actually talking about his capability. I'm talking about the risk of him really being our only genuine option at 9. Not that he's starting, but that actually we've got nothing else because Bamford's gonna be injured again before he gets fully fit.
But you've put a different spin on it to the actual shit take there because you've gone on a tangent about.
But he says it's wild that he's our 9, and I think it is wild that he's our 9. He'd never started a league game before this season in any senior side. It's not for us.
We had Jermaine Beckford. We had Jermaine Beckford at number 9, who was a window fitter. Some people just
scored 8,000 goals the previous season. It might have been for Wealdstone, but it scored a lot of goals. No, I don't think
the kid in training, and he held his own against Chelsea. He looked the part against them.
Absolutely,
I know it's only one game,
100%.
but listen, when you're in the position we're in, you're not going to be able to replace all the players. Sometimes you're going to have to take risks with talented kids, and that's what we did with Somerville as well. And it worked with him. Why can't it work with?
Did we? Because we had genuine first teamers that were in front of Somerville, and Somerville were able to come in and build up his number of minutes. Joseph, as I said earlier in the pod, was not even getting minutes from the bench last season, and now he's just expected to be our starting 9 and bag 25, 30 goals in a season.
So
I think it's unrealistic. I think it's wild.
Would you be okay with him being 9 had he made a few more sub appearances before that? Is that your only real gripe?
I think you're giving him more of you're giving him more of an opportunity to have the impact we're looking for this season if he's given some more minutes last season. Yes.
Okay. Bryn says Joseph is the best and only proper number 9 we have, who has all the attributes we need, just needs to be more clinical.
And I don't disagree with that either. What I'm saying is we should have had another genuine option at 9 that you're going to be able to rely on over the course of the season.
I get that, but that's not what the tweet said.
I think that's how I read it.
All right, fair enough. So the second one we've got, when I find it and put the right one up, is the Sky TV one of Gillies.
Yeah.
They're not causing anyone any problems. Then there's a goal.
Yeah, I mean, so the commentator, someone said that. Well, I'm not even going to say no. We were trying to work out who it was that was the summariser, and I think it was somebody that had played for Ipswich, and I can't remember who it was now. We did find out who it was in the end, but during the game it was difficult, and it'd gone on this thing of Leeds are not playing in behind, they're not playing the slide balls through, they're not getting it wide and then beating a man on the overlap, and do you know what? They're just not posing any danger as the ball just went into bomb corner. It was just beautiful timing. It was.
It's like
was that in the Norwich game, that one?
Yeah. It was, and it was literally.
I can't remember any of the commentary.
You can see that they're just not well. Some people were watching on international radio and had LUTV commentary, whereas I were watching on Sky. So I think it was just that thing. It was just so immaculately timed to say that we weren't posing any danger at all, just as the ball went through, and then you just got slotted in bomb corner.
That's nearly as perfect as that time Rafa Benitez put up his own on the
it's
screen.
like that. And then commentators went across the bottom.
Yeah, it's class. Love that one.
Commentators curse. Now you told me that there's another one in there, Carl, but I can only see
the one in front of that. No, is it that one?
No,
that's from last week when I put them in.
Yeah, that was last time,
I don't know what he's done. You might have gone to put it in, and if we've reached the maximum number of overlays, it'll have just said a message about it, and you might not realise that it's not uploaded.
Well, I've got rid of the couple that were from last week, and
go on, Carl, go on, chuck it in while we still come on live. Come on, do it, no pressure.
Do it now.
Come
on. You can do it.
Hold on. I don't know if it's a shit take of the week, but it's definitely a talking point. Hold on.
Hang on, I don't want it if it's not a shit take. There we go.
Right, yeah, there you go.
Okay, so TJ, LUFC TJ93 says, robot subs week after week, 70 minutes, same changes. Should have gone after Wembley, tactically inept. I mean, Gilly probably agrees with that, don't you, Gilly?
I mean, we couldn't disagree with it more, could we? I think we talked at length when we talked about the Norwich game, and it's just that thing of the players are knackered. We absolutely need them to be fit for the next game, which is only 3 days away, and they only played 3 days before. It's like, fucking hell, guys, come on.
Yeah,
they've won us the point. Give him a break.
Give them out a break.
It's crackers. Yeah. It's absolutely crackers. Jesus Christ. Right. Luke often puts a poll up for that. I can't really be asked doing a poll because I'd have to open YouTube and do a lot of other stuff. So just tell us in the comments which one you think was the shit take, and I'll have a little look at the end and see what's got the most comments about it. So we can move on now to the next game after all that talk of injuries and positivity and looking forward to seeing that team out there, what's left of it. We've got Sunderland this Friday up at the Stadium of Light, and they're top of the league out of Gilly, I think you were saying.
Yeah.
I reckon they were second.
Fucking second, all right.
So, I mean, I don't even know where to start with this. I'm guessing the team's pretty much going to pick itself because there's not really anybody else, is there? So we're going to end up...
Well, I'll tell you who's going to play.
Well, yeah, as long
as there's no injuries between now and kickoff, then you're right.
That's the big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so the back five, I think, will remain as is. I don't think we'll see any changes there unless enforced by other context. I think it'll be Rothwell and Tanaka in the middle. I think Arrington will be in front of them. I think Joseph will be in front of him. And I think the only two wingers that are fit will be on the wings.
Yeah.
The other two wingers that are fit.
That's a pretty good assumption.
Anyone at this rate.
On to Sunderland.
God.
But that's essentially it, though. It is literally on to Sunderland, like, because the team is going to be what it was after 22 minutes when Gruev got injured. That's what it's going to be.
Is.
Barring injuries between now and Friday, that's it.
Hopefully Joseph scores a couple and Gilly will be nice to him.
Yeah, well, like it could be the game for him. You never know.
Oh, come on now! Come on! I rate Joseph. I'm not saying in any way that I don't rate Joseph. I think it's mad that he's our only realistic option at 9. It's not like Karl, how much he hates Bogle.
I don't hate Bogle. I just observed that he ball watches quite a bit. That was it. At one time.
Are we worried about Sunderland at all? Do we think that we're likely to get overwhelmed by them, or do we think they're this season's Preston, good start, won't last?
I said that at the
start. It's one of those. So I mean, they are top of the league. I'm just going to pop this up that I saw on the BBC website that was quite interesting. If you look at,
love a graph.
I do love a graph. You're absolutely right.
Spreadsheets and graphs.
It's all stats, but it's basically what we're looking at is the head-to-head of the season so far. So they've conceded 1 more goal than us, but they've scored 3 more than us. So fairly similar in terms of the position that we're in from goals. Passing accuracy is very similar. The amount of block shots, the amount of shots. Points dropped from a winning position is they've dropped 3, we've dropped 2. It's all looking very similar actually, and I know that they're top and we're 4th, 5th. But it's that thing for me that we've lost 1 in 6, they've lost 2, but they're top. It's almost basically for me between the top 8 sides in the division at the moment, which goes down to Watford actually. There's a Rizzler paper between them. It could go either way. I think, as we said before, a point at Norwich and a point at Sunderland, both away at this point in the season, it wouldn't be horrendous.
Not at all. I think
a
point away from home and keeping the unbeaten record away from home is a good point. But the other side of the coin there is then, like Jay was saying, are they a Preston? Are they going to drop off? I think they are. I don't think they're going to be able to sustain it. I don't think, is it Regis is their manager now, is it? Or is it, I can't
even remember who their manager is.
Dude, he managed, he was...
it's Libris.
Sorry, yeah.
Libris.
He was manager at Lorient
when
back
Chris Coleman.
Bleeding Meslier was there, so he was chatting about him today in the press and whatnot, and... I don't know. I think you get a lot of managers coming over from the continent and they don't expect what they get from the Championship. And I think I think he might be one of them. And the guy, Johansson, is it at Norwich? Is it their manager? I think he's in for a bit of a rude awakening as well now. To be fair, but I think on Friday night, I think we've got as much chances as they have of winning the game. Like I just think it's how our centre midfield holds up. We've got it in attack.
Do you think it'll hurt us being away again, Gilly, for a second game in a row?
I think it might actually play into our hands because if you consider the shape of the game and there's been a lot of talk about the atmosphere at Elland Road this season, but that aside, I think there's an expectation on Leeds as a club to go and take maximum points to whoever they're playing against at this level. I think that's just the expectation. And I think when you're playing away from home, it is a different level of expectation. We're playing against top of the league and we're playing away from home and we've got a mountain of injuries. If Farke sets up a bit defensively in this game, I think that will be understood in the context of how we go into the game and the shape we're in. If we just if we bring it in after just a second, if we're in a position where we're setting up just defensively to try and eke out a point at home, it's going to get toxic real quick. So I think it might even be to our benefit actually in terms of it being an away game.
Yeah,
I think our fans will be rabid up there. They'll be going crazy. That's what I'm expecting to hear our fans on TV again. Or international radio or whatever it ends up being on in my house. Carl's a comment from Hazza T here. He's saying, watching midstream, would it be better to change formation to 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 and play Di Baio in the back three? Would you gamble at that or would you leave it as is at the back for this game?
Like we discussed earlier on, and Gilly made the point, your back four, it's probably the most steady back four we've had since Ampadu and Rodon before the last international break last season. I think it's the most steady back four, back five that we have. We can still set up defensively if we wanted to by not altering anyone on the pitch. I think what Gilly was saying was, if we set up a little bit, deeper and whatnot and, get a point away from home, that's a good result. But at the same time, if we set up deeper, we know we've got the likes of Willie, Joseph, Aronson, Ramazani. We could hit them on the break quite easily. And we've shown that we can defend. I think we've conceded the least shots in the whole of the division so far this year. So that says, we're tight at the back. I think Sunderland's a tough place to go, and I don't think changing it up for that game, considering it's going to be Tanaka and Rothwell's first proper start together, so they're not thrown in mid-game. And I think that's important as well, that we kind of let them gel in there before you go making any hasty decisions. But they still won't really train together, will they? Even then, they'll be on. We're gonna have to be patient for the next 2 days, it won't be any.
And speaking of training, if you consider that, if you're a manager that's going to consider going from a flat back four to a wing backs, whether that be 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2, what you really want is 7 to 10 dedicated days where you can work with your side, and we've got zero time at all. So I can't see any changes that big being made, because it would be a knee-jerk reaction to something, and we can't afford a knee-jerk because somebody's going to get injured.
The only thing that I think we might see, Karl, is I think we might see a return to that more cautious football that Farke sometimes had us playing. Where we sort of go sideways a lot and back to keeper and sideways a lot and back to keeper until there's more of an opening. Do you think that might happen? Do you think we may sit back and try to just control the ball a bit more and play that more patient style?
I can see a lot of the West Brom game happening on Friday night potentially, but I can see us probably using the ball better, trying to get forward. I thought we were quite disjointed against West Brom, but we did quite well defensively to get the point away from home.
Yeah.
But I think I can see us kind of doing a bit about West Brom for the first maybe 20-25 minutes, just to see how the two boys settle into midfield together, just understanding each other a little bit. Like Gilly said, no time to train together. Like, it's all warm down stuff now that they're doing. So it's a case of letting them kind of blend together a bit and then see how it goes from there. But I do think it'll be a case of try and hit them on the break rather than keep the ball, obviously, as much as you can, but try and hit them on the break, and just try and stifle them that way. I think that's probably the best way we're going to go about it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, do you have any takes on that, Gilly? Do you think that's probably reasonable, or do you have a different?
I think I think it is. I think it's one of those only times that Carl said something that makes any sense.
You were here for that podcast, Gilly, man. You were here for it.
It was on this day.
When people ask you about this day, you'll be like, "I was on the podcast that day."
That kind of segues into Roland's comment here. Right, you are, Andy. The best thing about this pod is its uncompromising dedication to quality production. Absolutely, Roland. Absolutely. There's a couple of things on the game.
Sorry, I interrupted Gilly there when he was going to make his point there. Sorry.
He did, yeah. Sorry.
Go on, Gilly. Sorry.
Go on.
It's absolutely fine. No, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's gone. The moment has passed.
Well, it was worth it to take the piss out of me anyway, so you're all right.
It was. You absolutely was. There are a couple more starred comments.
Scooby says, "Oh yeah, bring on the Mackhams away too. I'd so love to be there. There'll be an atmosphere there, I reckon. Probably best atmosphere all season. I think it'll be one of, mate. I think it'll be one of." Paul Brennan says, "Sunderland v Leeds is a top flight clash. Two biggest teams outside the top flight. Like Scooby says, atmosphere should be a cracking night." Do you think they are in the top two biggest teams? They're in the conversation.
Yeah,
I mean they're definitely in the conversation. I think if you're trying to say that they're not, who would you put above them aside from us? Chef Wednesday historically are a big club, but for
Sheffield United, maybe.
Yeah, Sheffield United. I wouldn't consider being that size of a club for some reason. I don't think they're as big a club as Chef Wednesday. And Chef Wednesday, I'm going. You've got West Brom have been a big club in the past, but for a long period have not really. I think after us, I think it is Sunderland. I would agree.
Sunderland, yeah.
Stoke are another one. Kind of, they've been there. You know, they spent quite a lot of time in the top flight over their history, but again, have been poor of late. So,
of late, being like the last 30 years.
Well, no, I mean, when the likes of Robert Huth were at the back and all they did was just kick the shit out of the Premier League, they were there for a while.
They were always crap, though, in the Premier League. I didn't consider them any good at any point, but yeah.
Well, absolutely not, but they were there.
They were there. It's more than we've been.
Someone in the comments agrees with you, Gilly. Look. Wise words, Karl. He agrees with you.
There you go.
I'm telling you. There you go.
Just got a comment from Joe as well. Tim Robinson is the ref, and he missed 2 clear handballs in the Sunderland box, which should have been giving us 2 penalties for Leeds last season. So that's another reassuring
thanks, Joe.
ref watch from Joe there. If you've not checked out ref threads on Twitter, do go and do that. They are excellent.
I remember the one O'Neill went up with his arm right above him, and I remember that one. I can't remember the other one, but Joe knows what she's on about with the ref, so... Yeah, absolutely. We'll bow to superior knowledge, but yeah, I remember the O'Neill one. It was disgusting that he wasn't given.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've got one more starred comment here from Paul Brennan. It says scary bunch of shysters. I think we all agree with that. The match should have been played on Saturday. Saying Leeds won't be on as much. What a bunch of twats. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. We're all in agreement there, mate. We're all in agreement there. Right, cool. We shall move on and do the Sunderland predictions, and then we'll wrap this show up. I'm still looking for the thing, and I'm going to press it right now.
Orta know better predictions.
At least I am driving myself tonight. I normally have someone else to do it, so I'm getting back into the swing of it now. Getting back into this hosting, Mark. Gilly, go on, take it away. You're your predictions guru.
No problem at all. We've already had a fan ones in just after you pressed the button, and that is Steve Brown, and he's gone 1-0 Leeds. So I'll just make a note of that. And then we go in order of us, and as Karl was up there, and then I've joined him on the same points. We're going to regard Karl as being in front of me. So. Okay.
Right, so
that was a slick move.
Yeah, it's like that.
Unless we're joined on points at the end of the season, and I only catch up on the last game of the season, in which case it'll be a duck race.
It's going down to goals scored then, isn't it? This reminded me of Throw Mama Off the Train there, where you just threw me under the bus going, "Yeah, you go first." I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds, because I feel we will hit them on the break. They're very kind of, yeah. I watched them play against Wednesday, and I just think, yeah, they're going to press on quite high, and we definitely have the players on the wings and in the centre with Aronson and Joseph to hit them on the break. So I'm going to go 2-1.
Fair enough. I've got that one. I've gone 1-1 again. I think it will be a tight game. They are playing pretty well. We're going to keep it tight, but we do have some pace, and I think we can get at them. So, I think it'll be a really not necessarily an even game. I think this is one of those games that Farke will look at and go, "Do you know what? I don't think we can play in the normal way that we." He said at the when he first joined us, he said, "I want 100% possession." I think he'll come at this slightly differently. And you look at the kind of players that we've signed, and you look at Bogle and Firpo, and they are wing backs for the best will in the world. That's what I think. It'll be a little bit more conservative. But you're right to say that we've got some pace and that we can get at them. But I just think 1-1.
Ian Ward in the comments again. He's telling me to take the ref into account, Karl. Yeah.
Too late now. It's locked in. Smarty will tell you.
Yeah.
Actually, the other penalty should have been when Ballard stopped some of us short. Yeah, I didn't remember somebody doing something, but yeah, he kind of chicken armed it, didn't he? Chicken wing.
Also, he did. Also, if Andrea sees this, he needs to be getting his prediction in before half time during the game.
It's the hour difference. It's the hour difference in Italy. It has him completely thrown off.
I was going to go 2-1 like you, Karl.
It's still allowed.
I know it is. I know. I'm just having a little think now. In my brain, I'm kind of thinking we're going to end up drawing because of the disruption in midfield. But I want us to win so badly that I'm going to go 2-0 Leeds. I'm not even convinced by that, but I just want it. So that's what I'm going with. That's what I'm saying.
PMA,
that's what I'm saying. That's it.
Fair enough. And back to you. I'll get all the scores from everyone else, and we'll go from there.
No worries, mate. I've forgotten which one of you were doing the AMC stuff. I think it was you, Karl. I don't think we've got any other business, have we? Unless anyone has they want to.
Nothing from me.
Pipe up with. In that case, I'll let you do your thing, mate.
Okie dokie. I did try pressing that there. There we go. So Andy's Man Club, they send us a schedule of what they're going to do every month for their socials. So on, it's obviously gone past now. The Couch to 5K, it was on Monday around Woodhouse. On the 6th, they have a walk and talk at Burley Park. On Wednesday the 9th, it's Couch to 5K with recovery runners. So it's up in Woodhouse. So get on the Andy's Man Club website or on Twitter, and they'll be able to tell you where the meetup is and stuff like that. On Friday the 18th, we have a pool night in Northern Snooker, and that's on Kirkstall. You can just turn up.
That's on what?
Kirkstall.
Kirkstall?
Kirkstall.
Look, I'm not from round these parts. All right. Don't be lecturing me and trying to give me elocution lessons live on the pod.
You're around the corner.
Hang on, you're from where I'm from.
Yeah, there you go. You see, there you go. That's on Friday the 18th in Northern Snooker, and then the Wednesday 23rd, Couch to 5K with recovery runners, Woodhouse. Again, check the Twitter page.
Woodhouse.
Find it. Woodhouse.
Woodhouse.
You give the world a language and you can't even speak it.
God.
And then on I think that's Wednesday the 30th again. That's Couch to 5K recovery runners in Woodhouse. So yeah, just check out the Andy's Man Club socials for meetup points for all of the running, and best of luck to anyone doing that. Couch to 5K is a tough one, like, so fair play. And as always, don't be afraid to talk, lads. It's all right, you know.
Absolutely.
It's not big and it's not fucking hard to do it, to not do it, you know. So Go for it. And that's me done there,
man.
AJ. Thanks.
Excellent. You can whip that back off. There you go. Good lad. Right, cool.
That's what she said.
We should be back for a B and C after the Sunderland game, which I think you were telling me I'm on, Gilly. So we'll have
me and me.
little discussion about that, seeing as, you know, I don't know what's going on and what day it is these days. And we'll be back on Tuesday next week for the main pod, I believe. And we'll see who's on that. I ain't got a bloody clue off the top of my head. And that finishes
there's a
up.
in the chat.
I don't have time to look at it now,
You
mate.
can't read it anyway, mate.
I'm talking to this. Anyhow, thanks for joining me, lads. Cheers to everyone that's watched, and we shall see you next time.
Thanks
Cheers
for
all.
Bye.